There are moments in life when everything feels heavy, when you pray more than you ever have before. And yet, nothing seems to happen, no sign, no answer, just silence. And that silence can hurt more than pain itself. You start asking questions you never thought you'd ask. God, where are you? Did I do something wrong? Why now when I need you the most? If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. And more importantly, this silence does not mean God has left you. 1. Silence is not absence. One of the biggest misunderstandings about God is this idea that silence equals distance. But silence does not mean abandonment. Think about a teacher during an exam. They're quiet not because they don't care, but because it's time for the student to apply what they've learned. In the same way, there are seasons when God steps back not to punish you, but to strengthen you. Some of the strongest people in faith were shaped in silence. David cried out in the Psalms, asking why God was quiet. Job suffered deeply without answers. Even Jesus, on the cross, asked, my God, why have you forsaken me?" If silence meant God was gone, then even Jesus would have been abandoned, but he wasn't. 2. God often works where you can't see. We live in a world that expects instant results. Instant replies, instant healing, instant solutions. But God doesn't operate on human timelines. Silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It often means something is happening behind the scenes. Like seeds planted underground, nothing looks alive on the surface. But growth is happening in the dark. If God answered every prayer immediately, we would trust the answers more than the relationship. Sometimes God delays, not to hurt you, but to prepare you. 3. Silence reveals what we're really trusting. When everything is going well, faith is easy. But when God feels silent, something is revealed. Are we trusting God for who He is, or only for what He gives? This is uncomfortable but important. Silence forces us to confront questions like, do I still believe when I don't understand? Do I still pray when it feels pointless? Do I still trust when I don't feel comfort? Faith that survives silence is deeper than faith built on feelings. For growth happens in the quiet. Some of the most important moments in life happen quietly. Muscles grow when they're under strain. Character grows when life feels unfair. Faith grows when answers are delayed. If God spoke loudly all the time, we might never learn how to listen. Silence teaches patience. Silence teaches humility. Silence teaches dependence, not dependence on signs, but on God Himself. 5. God's silence is sometimes an invitation. Sometimes God is quiet because He's inviting you closer, not farther. When someone whispers, you don't step away. You lean in. God's silence can be a call to slow down, to reflect, to listen more deeply. Not every answer comes through words. Some come through experience, some through time, some through change within you. 6. Feelings are not facts. One of the hardest truths is this: God's presence is not measured by how you feel. Feelings change, faith is tested, life gets confusing. But God's character does not change. Just because you feel unheard doesn't mean you are unheard. Just because you feel alone doesn't mean you are alone. Silence doesn't cancel promises. 7. What to do when God feels silent. So, what do you do in these moments? You keep praying even when it feels awkward. You stay honest. God can handle your questions. You hold on even when your grip feels weak. Faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. Sometimes the prayer isn't, God, fix this. Sometimes it's, God, stay with me while I go through this. And He does. 8. The silence will not last forever. Every season of silence has an end. You may not see it now. You may not feel it now. But one day, you'll look back and realize God was working in ways you couldn't understand at the time. The silence wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The waiting wasn't abandonment, it was growth. Final thought: if God feels silent right now, don't give up. You are not forgotten. You are not ignored. You are not alone. Sometimes, the deepest work God does is in the quiet moments when all you can do is trust, and that trust, even in silence, is powerful.